You are here, and I am so excited that you're here because we're going to work together today on creating an expert statement that you can use in your business. When you're an expert on a topic area, you need to have a way to talk about it. And the way that you talk about it needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, and it needs to be compelling. And if you're not a marketing person like I am, this may be tough for you to do. And even for people who consider themselves to be marketing people, it can be hard to do this for yourself. So I'm really glad that you're here because we're going to make this a working workshop. We're going to be doing some things together. And in order to work with me today, it would be super helpful if you could have your own copy of the Expert Statement Creator. So I'm going to ask Stacy, who's here helping me out, to share that link in the chat. If you don't have your own copy of the Expert Statement Creator, please download it with the link that Stacy is going to share in chat. I am Pamela Wilson, by the way. I should have introduced myself at the top of the presentation. I'm Pamela Wilson. I coach people to build profitable online businesses. I am so glad you're here. We're going to have a ton of fun today. You may have heard about this concept of an elevator speech. Sometimes people call it a personal tagline. There are lots of things you can call this. I happen to call it an expert statement because I think when you get this right, it becomes crystal clear that you are an expert and it becomes clear who you serve and how you serve them. And that's our goal with this expert statement. You're going to be able to use your expert statement when you meet a new colleague in person or online. You'll be able to use it if you're asked to speak as a guest speaker, maybe on a podcast, or maybe somebody presents you on a stage and they can present you using this statement. Maybe you have a prospective customer and you want to be able to very quickly say what you do and how you help people, and it's going to help you to do that as well. So I am going to recommend that you download that. Now, Stacy, did you drop that into chat yet? If you haven't, if you could drop the link for the Expert Statement Creator download into chat, that would be fantastic, just for anyone who hasn't gotten it. The other thing I want to recommend that you download is Revenue Revolution, the entire Revenue Revolution. I'm going to put the address for that up on the screen. Let me make it a little bit bigger so everyone can see it. You can get Revenue Revolution at pamelawilson.com/revenue. And if you have not registered for this and downloaded it, I highly recommend that you do so. This is my whole approach to creating a higher value online offer so that you can make really great online revenue, so that you can make good online profits. It's an approach to building a higher value offer. It's an approach to looking at your revenue in a way that's really smart. And inside this Revenue Revolution toolkit, you'll get this Expert Statement Creator among lots of other tools that will help you to do this. So I highly recommend that you register and download the entire Revenue Revolution package. But what we're going to be focusing on today is the piece of it called the Expert Statement Creator. The other thing I want to let you know before we dive in is that it's October 2022, and the reason I'm doing this presentation, I'm going to make this larger too so you can see it, is that this is the last month that I am bringing in a cohort for my Offer Accelerator program. This is the last month in 2022. So if you have heard about my Offer Accelerator and you've been thinking about it and thinking, well, sometime in the future I'll do it, maybe next month, this is the month to apply, and this is the month to consider joining, because this is your last chance to do it in the year 2022. It is a 6-month program. If you go to this page, you can read all about it. There's a very short application. I'm kind of picky about who I work with. So the application is just to help both of us to know if I'm going to be a good fit for you and you're going to be a good fit to really benefit from the program. The other thing that's happening this month is that the price is going up. It is a very reasonable price. It's an investment, but it's very reasonable right now. It is going to go up at the end of this month. I think it's still going to be reasonable, but it'll be a little pricier than it is right now. So 2 compelling reasons to apply this month. We're closing down the program for 2022 after this month, so you will not be able to join again this year. So if you're thinking about it, apply now. And the price will be higher when the doors open back up again. So get your application in and I'll be looking for it. So, okay, let's see. I am going to hope that you all have your expert statement creator in front of you. And what I'm going to do now is share my screen. Let me go over here and find my screen over here. Here we go. This is our expert statement creator. And as I said, hopefully, Stacey, you have dropped that link, the direct link into chat. I'm not seeing it, but I think my chat might be delayed here in the broadcast. So for all of those attending, I want you to open up the PDF and go to the cover, and we're going to go through this. I'm going to show you everything that's inside here. We're going to build your expert statement together. So open up the PDF, that's the cover, and then this is page 1. So our goal here is to tell the world that you are an expert. And the way we're going to do this is by building this expert statement section by section. And these are the components. This is what it's going to sound like. You can see it here. I help, and then in the first blank, we're going to say the customers that you help, or the, let's see. Okay, I'm just noticing that people aren't seeing the link. So what I'm gonna do is stop for a moment and drop it into chat so that everybody has it. Let's see if this helps. All right, so hopefully that will help. That is the link that you want to download the expert statement creator from. And no worries, you have time. I'm going to just go through it for a minute while you're downloading it. So let's go through the sections of it, and you start downloading it and open it up on your machine so you can start filling in these sections. These are the components. It's basically, I help, and in the first blank, we're going to describe the customers who experience a problem. These are basically the people that you help. And then in the next section of it, we're going to say to, and then we'll say achieve what? What are we helping them to achieve? And then in the next section, we say together, we, and then do what? What are we working on together? What are we doing together, right? And then in the final section, we're going to say so they can experience what? And this is where we're actually describing the transformation that we're delivering to people. And that is a huge part of my Offer Accelerator program, is that we are delivering a transformation, and that's why we can charge more for it, because we're delivering a true transformation that helps to change people's lives. So these are the sections. I help, and we describe a customer who experiences a problem. To achieve what, and we're describing what we're helping them to do. And together we, and that's where we talk about the work we're going to do together so they can experience what. And this is where we describe the future that is better. So I'm looking, I would love to get confirmation. It looks like Alex was able to get the download. If anyone else can just confirm that you do have that download, you have your expert statement creator PDF open in front of you, let me know in chat. That would be awesome. And then, okay, here we go. I'm going to read you through my version of my own expert statement. I help ambitious experts who aren't making enough online revenue to generate $10,000 to $20,000 per month with just a few sales. And together, we create, test, and optimize their high-value offer. Again, that's the work we're doing together, so they can count on sustainable profits and do life-changing work. And I saw a few people who came in late. So just in case, if you hear that and that sounds amazing to you, I want you to go to offeraccelerator.com. I'm going to flash it up on screen for just a moment so you can see it, because right now we are doing the final intake for 2022. The last small group that will join me this year is joining right now. And after this month, the price of the program is going up. So if this is something that sounds enticing to you or something you have thought about, I want you to go to offeraccelerator.com, put in your application. I review every application personally, and I would love to see your application if this is something that you want to work on together. All right, so people have the expert statement creator. I'm glad to see that. That is wonderful news. And let's go to this page, actually. I think I hopped past it. Here we go. This is our working page. So this is where we are going to start filling in all of our ideas. And let's go through this one by one. And again, like, this is a working session. So for everyone who is here live, I'm so glad that you made the time to attend, because I'm going to give you feedback on the ideas you come up with. So let's go section by section. Let's start with the first section first. And this is where we are describing customers who experience a problem. And I highly recommend that you try to come up with about 5 different options for each of these columns. And I know that seems like a lot, but the reason we do 5 options is that the first option and the second option are usually kind of the first things that pop into your head. So oftentimes they may be a little bit of a cliche. They may not be your deepest thinking and your best thinking. So I want you to get those out of your head right off the bat. Just get them out of the way, because the best ideas, the gems, are usually in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th idea that you come up with. So take a moment now and just describe your customers who experience a problem. And again, this is 4 or 5 words that we're using. And what I want to ask someone to do is I want to ask someone who's here live to be brave enough in chat to drop in your idea for how you want to describe your customer who experiences a problem. And I'm going to wait, and we're going to take a look at it so that we can see if it's working in this section. And again, we're describing customers who experience a problem. So these, let me give you some examples. These may be, let's see, I have an example on the next page in the, actually 2 pages down in the expert statement creator. I have some examples. So if you're getting stuck, you could look at those. An example could be stressed out CFOs. An example could be business decision makers who aren't sure what to do. Another example could be, small bakery owners who want to grow, something like that. So in this section, I just want you to use a few words to describe your audience. And thank you, Alex, for being brave enough to share yours. That's awesome. Ambitious, independent authors. I love that. I help ambitious, independent authors. Love that. And Marina says, I help writers, authors, and people who want to create a book. I love that. Una says, I help early stage biotech companies. Perfect. Orit says, I help successful creative leaders who feel they are not living up to their full potential. Perfect. Zenitis says, now Zenitis, yours might be a little long, but let's see. I help young opera singers to learn about the business of singing. Oh, Zenitis, you went ahead and did the whole thing. Together, we will optimize your presentation and audition materials so they can win at their next audition. So that is great. You went ahead and did the whole thing. Thank you, Alex, again. And Yvonne says, I help business professionals who want more recognition. And Marina also says an option is I help writers that don't know what to do after they finish their manuscripts. Perfect. All right. And in this next section, we are going to talk about what do they want to achieve. So here are some examples for this next section. I help, and remember, we filled in this first blank. I help this group of people to do what? To achieve what? So maybe we say to have a clear view of their priorities. Maybe we say to identify the factors that influence profits. Maybe we say to know exactly what is helping their business to grow profits. Okay, so Steve is chiming in. I teach individual investors to time the market. Okay, awesome. So in this case, it would be I help, if we're going to stick by our formula here, it would be Steve. It would be I help individual investors to time the market. Perfect. That is a perfect beginning. And we'll work on the second half of it. Together we and so they can. We'll work on that next. Does anyone else want to share their to statement to achieve what? You help this group of people to do what? To achieve what? Just throw some ideas into chat and I will read them off and give you some feedback and we'll see how it's working. I really appreciate you all sharing. I know it's a little nerve-wracking to share in front of people who are watching, but we're not a huge group here today, so don't worry about that. Let me know, what do you have in this to column? And I'm going to sip my tea so I can keep my voice in good shape. All right, Yvonne says, I help business professionals who want more recognition to become a thought leader and build community. I love that. So you are talking about that end result that you are helping them to achieve. You're talking about the achievement that they all aspire to. So that is great. Marina says to learn what they need to be able to publish and do it for them. Okay, so I think that do it for them part might be able to move to this next section, which is together we, right? So maybe in the two-part, Marina, you could just say to learn what they need to be able to publish. I think that might be all you need. Alex says to produce well-written books. Love that. Orit says to achieve optimal performance and satisfaction. Perfect. Una says, Una's got it put together here. I help early stage biotech companies to communicate their technology in a way that is easy to understand. Perfect. I love that. Made for You Media says to find clients who are ready to make a buying decision now. Perfect. Love that. That is awesome. All right, I'm going to move on to the next section unless somebody else has one at the ready that you want to drop into chat and I'll read it out. And otherwise, we'll move on to the next section, which is Together We. So this next section is where you get a chance to talk about how you deliver this transformation to people, how you are going to work with people, and how you are going to help them achieve their transformation together, right? Hey, Ray, it's good to see you here. All right. So Katie just dropped in. I help mothers who lose a child to find their new purpose. I love that. What an awesome thing. Okay. So let's work on this together section now. And for everyone who has the expert statement creator open in front of you, it is this third section, Together We. And this is where we're going to talk about the actual work that we do with people. And the challenge here, as always, is to reduce it to hopefully just a handful of words, because we don't want this expert statement to be an expert paragraph. We want it to be a statement, right? So see if you can pare it down to the least amount of words possible. And I've got some examples for you. And again, I'm going to ask you to share them in chat. I would love to be able to give you feedback. So some examples could be together we create a clear way to see their numbers. Together we build a view of what is working. Together we create a master dashboard that tracks results. Together we make tracking easier to follow. These are all examples that are in the expert statement creator. So let's see what Yvonne has. Yvonne says, together we successfully promote their book and their business. So I just edited that for you, Yvonne. I don't know if you noticed that. You can take the word can out. So just say, together we successfully promote both their book and their business. Yes, love that. And then in the last section, we're going to talk about the results of that work and what that will achieve for them. So Marina says, together we format and design their book just as they have dreamt about it. Love that. Yes, that's great. And you might even be able to just say, together we format and design their book, because in the next section, you're going to say the result of that work. So you might even be able to just pair it to that. Who else has an example of this together section? And again, examples are, together we come up with a way to see what's working in the business. Together we craft an approach, or we build a solution, something like that. So Katie says, together we find a way to honor their loss. I love that. That is awesome. Together we find a way to honor their loss. That's great. Who else? Who else has a together we statement that you want to share in chat? And remember, in this section, you're basically talking about how you deliver that transformation that you deliver. So what is it that you do with them? How is it that you work with them? Is it a service? Is it a product? Is it one-on-one, a group? Together we do what? What is the work that you do? Anyone else have one that you want to share before I move on to the next section? And in the next section, we're going to be talking about the result of that work that you do together. So we're talking about what they experience as a result of doing that work with you. So this is where we're talking about their big dream, right? So Alex just shared his or her, actually, I'm not sure, Alex, sorry. Alex shared their together we statement. And together we is, together we produce an excellent final version of their book. Perfect. Love that. Yes, that is great. And then you're setting yourself up for that so you can section of this statement, and you're ready for it. So I think that's a great way to say it. So let's move on to that so they can section. And so they can is going to be where we address what they experience. And some examples of this, and this is like the end result, the aspirational end result that everybody is dreaming of. Thank you, Alex. Alex's her said thank you. So this is where we're talking about the aspirational end statement, okay, where we are talking about the reason that they need help, the reason they want to work with you, and the end result that they are all dreaming of. So Ray shared, so they can, okay, let's see. Let me read this whole thing. We create an online strategy that helps them attract their ideal customer. Together, we create an online strategy so they can attract their ideal customer. So I'm just plugging in my formula here, Ray. So together, we create an online strategy so they can attract their ideal customer. So Ray, I would just ask you to think a little further, because here's the thing. The average everyday person, you and I both know how important it is to attract your ideal customer, but the average ideal person, in the world really wants to know what attracting their ideal customer will get for them. So I would push you a little bit to think about describing what will happen in their business when they attract their ideal customer. So what will it lead to ultimately? Will that lead to more profits? Will it lead to easier profits? Will it lead to higher level customers? Will it lead to overall more revenue or a growing business or something like that. So I would just push you a little bit to think through what is the end result of attracting the ideal customer and see if we can describe that. I think it's going to make your expert statement that much more powerful. All right, Yvonne is saying, so they can expand business, become a public speaker, and leave a lasting legacy. Awesome. I'm high-fiving you from here in Nashville. That is great. Una says, together, we create website content, marketing campaigns, and attract customers. That is a perfect together statement. Katie says, so they can learn to live a joyful life again. Oh my gosh, I have goosebumps. That is awesome, Katie. I think you have a great one. And at the end of all of this, I'm going to ask you all to put it all together into one big statement, and I want to read it back to you. So if you're ready to do that, stitch it all together and drop it into chat, and I'm going to read it back to you. So Marina says, so they can create a great book that demonstrates their expertise and gain importance in their field. Love that. And again, Marina, I would push you a little bit to think through what will gaining importance in their field look like for them? What will that do for them? And maybe you can describe that. Alex says, so they can sell more books, delight more readers, and gain lifelong fans. Whoa, that is awesome. That is amazing, Alex. Thank you for that. And then Ray says, let's see, that was the together we, still working on so they can, okay, yeah, I got that. All right, so Ray, stitch it all together. Give me the whole thing. I want to read it back to you. It's looking really good so far. Una says, so their technology can make an impact on the world. Now, that is such an interesting twist because Una has basically switched it around and given the impact of the ultimate impact is going to be on their technology, right? So that's great. So their technology can make an impact on the world. And Ari says, together, we create systems, routines, and habits to support them in living the ultimate lives they deserve. Yes, love that. All right, I'm actually going to put myself back on camera. Hello. I want to see who's brave enough to send me your whole statement, stitch it all together and drop it into chat because I really want to read it back to you. These are looking so good. And actually, as you're doing that, maybe what I'll do is very quickly go back to this PDF so you can see what else is on here. So on the next page, you probably saw this if you have the PDF in front of you, but you can see that I'm giving you examples. And as usual, you know, some versions of it are great and some aren't as good. So your job after you've filled in all these columns is to just go through here and say, which of these says it best? Just cherry pick the best version of all of these statements. And then in the final stage, what you're going to be doing is stitching those best of versions of those statements together so that you have one final expert statement. And that is going to look like what you see here. You're going to put it all together. I gave an example here based on, you know, what I did in the previous page. I helped stressed out CFOs to identify factors that influence profits. Together, we craft a master dashboard that tracks their results so they can make smart, timely decisions that build their profits. And then you'll see on this page, I gave you more examples because I know it's so much easier when you see examples. And you can see that these are all pretty short. They're really just 2 sentences. The third one is the longest of all, and I would encourage you to try not to go much longer than that because honestly, we don't want this to be a super long paragraph. We want it to be 2 really well-crafted sentences. And I am seeing them pour into chat. This is so exciting to see the work come together. So here we go. Katie sent in, I help mothers who lost a child to find their new purpose. Together, we find a way to honor their loss so they can learn to live a joyful life again. That is so good. How do you feel about that, Katie? I think that's amazing. That sounds fantastic. Ray says, I help local business owners get more high value customers. Together, we create an online strategy that attracts their ideal customers so they can increase revenue and get a steady stream of the customers they've been dreaming about. Love it. I think the last sentence might be a little long, so I would sit with it, Ray, and see if there's a way you can pare it down just a little bit. Because in a perfect world, you can kind of memorize this. So you want to try to make it as short as possible and as compact as possible. All the elements are there. I would just say, see if there's any way you can pare off some words just to make it a tiny bit shorter. Una is saying, I help early stage biotech companies communicate their technology in a way that is easy to understand. Together, we create website content, marketing campaigns, and attract customers so their technology can make an impact on the world. I have goosebumps again, and that's always a good sign. So I think that's fantastic, Una. Alex says, I help people to produce well-written fiction. Together, we produce an excellent version of their novels so they can sell more books, delight more readers, and gain lifelong fans. Alex, high five. That is amazing. So I see something here, and I saw it. Let's see. Somebody had this earlier. I'm looking back in chat. Oh, you know what? I think it was yours, KD. This is something just to think about. Not a big deal, but just something to think about. Katie, in yours, you use the word find in your first sentence, and then you use the word find in the second sentence. And I would encourage you to break open a thesaurus and see if you can find an alternative to the word find so that you have some variety in your two sentences. So you're not repeating a word. And I'm seeing the same thing with Alex's. Alex says, I need to edit mine. I missed out. Ambitious independent authors. Yes. So plug that back in. And I would also say, if possible, see if you can find an alternative to the word produce, because it's a perfect word, but you're using it twice. So if you can break open a thesaurus, that's what I do in these circumstances. I just break open my thesaurus. See if you can find an alternative to the word produce, because if you have some variety between your two sentences, it's going to make it clearer and easier to understand. I want to hear what you all thought about that. What did you think about this exercise? I would love to hear what you thought. I am so impressed with the results that you got and how quickly you got those results. Yvonne says mine is too long. It won't let me post it. I will edit. Maybe that's our test. If it won't let you post it on YouTube, if the comment is too long, then maybe YouTube is trying to be an editor right now. It's interesting that it's doing that. I didn't know it would do that. But it's interesting because that is one of the goals, is to come up with something that in the fewest number of words possible says the thing you want it to say. So again, this is where you download Revenue Revolution, the entire toolkit. And if you have not downloaded it, I highly recommend it. It is a free toolkit, and it's got some really powerful tools. There's an aspect of this that's basically, it's a spreadsheet, but it's really a tool where you can see the difference between kind of a normal priced offer and a higher value offer, and what that will do to your bottom line, which is kind of shocking. I even have a place where you can plug in your expenses, and you can see what happens to your bottom line revenue if you find a way to develop a higher value offer. The math does not lie, and that's why I created that tool. So that is inside Revenue Revolution. I also have a PDF that outlines exactly how I help you create a higher value offer, my step-by-step method, so you understand exactly how it works. It is based on the concepts in lean software development. So I'm helping you to develop a testable version of your offer. And we do it in the first 30 days in the program. And speaking of the program, I'm going to put this up on screen one last time so you can see it. As I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, I'm recording this in October 2022. I'm bringing in the last group of the year right now. So if you have thought about the program, if you've seen it and considered it, I want you to go to this page, offeraccelerator.com, fill out the application at the bottom. It's going to take you like 3 minutes. It doesn't take long. I ask you to fill out an application because it's really important to me that you be in a position right now where you can truly benefit from the program. And I'm kind of particular about who comes in. I only work with a small group of people, so I just need a little more information about you so that we can see if we're a good fit to work together. So fill out the application on that page. I review it personally, and I will let you know what the next steps are. And I would love to just, get your application and see it. And let's see. I am going to go back here and look at some comments. Okay. So Katie is working on hers. Alex is working on hers. Made for Media says yes. So I think that's an affirmative. And Alex is building it in different sections and then it leads to repeated words. Absolutely. And 5 iterations is probably a good idea. Yeah. I wanted to walk you through it live, but absolutely you can take your time and go back to this and really sit with it and let your brain do the work and see what you come up with. If you get stuck, break open a thesaurus. The thesaurus is your best friend. Can't say the word thesaurus, but it is your best friend in exercises like this. Or Reed says, I help stressed out creative leaders who feel they are not living their full potential achieve optimal performance. Together we create systems, routines, and habits to support their ultimate lives. Love it. I love that. I think that's great. Yvonne has pared hers down. So Yvonne has, I help smart business professionals who want recognition become thought leaders. Together, we write, publish, and promote their books to attract more clients, gain speaking opportunities, and leave a lasting legacy. Awesome. I love it. And let's see. And Yvonne got it down by cheating using the ampersand symbol. Perfect. That's fine. And I would encourage you, now that you have the raw material, just sit with this. Let your brain, let it marinate in your brain, right? Just let your brain kind of work on it over the next few days. Maybe put it on a Post-it note somewhere or write it down on a piece of paper, put it on your desktop and just look at it and see how it seems, how it feels, how it reads to you over time. I'm a big believer in stepping away from your creative work and then revisiting it with fresh eyes. There is something kind of magical about just leaving it alone after you've worked on it and then coming back to it with fresh eyes and approaching it over again. So I would highly recommend that you do that at this stage. Step away, revisit it a couple of times over the next few days. Look at the examples in the PDF that I gave you so you can see if you can achieve something that reads pretty easily like that. And okay, I love seeing these comments. Thank you so much for your great feedback here. If you're thinking about the Offer Accelerator, please apply today so that you don't forget. I am waiting to see your application. I would love to have the opportunity to work with you this year. It means that starting next year, you could have a high value offer that will make a lot more revenue for your online business. That's what we aim for in that program, and I would love to help you make it happen. Thank you so much for being here, for participating actively in this workshop. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you and your attention. And if you have anything you want to talk about in the comments, just leave it below in YouTube and we can chat about it. Take care.